Proxy principle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Candi Rand, and today we have a very special guest because he's our very first guest on the Proxy Principle. I had the pleasure of meeting him on the set of Good Girls. You get to meet him right here today. Let me introduce you to the actor extraordinaire, Larry Brown.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Your first guest. I feel honored. I really do. I'm a fan of you already. You know, a few episodes in, and you're very talented at this. I think you might have found your hidden gift that you didn't know that you had. So I'm very honored to be your first guest.
Well, thank you. Those are very kind words. And I did not pay him to say that, folks.
No, she did it. She did.
But maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
No, I'm just really glad that you're here. I get to follow you on Instagram and see what you're up to, you know, here and there. And I love how you're always encouraging people, and you know, it's just fun to follow you. But I want to dive right into some stuff. So the most recent show that I've seen you on was The Studio.
Yes.
It's won a lot of awards, Emmys.
Yes.
Like
14.
14.
Yes.
Wow.
14 Emmys, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Don't
well, those
take
are
my word for it. Look it up.
Well-deserved awards. The show is hilarious. Everybody in it seems like it's a very slice of life to what Hollywood really is.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. It is. It was fun to watch. Fun and surprising to watch and see what Seth and Evan did with the studio, you know, creating that whole Hollywood world, that throwback to Hollywood. It was fun. It was interesting.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you worked with Olivia Wilde on that was your episode, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and how much were you, like, between takes or whatever, were you getting to hang with Seth at all? Or okay, let me go back even further. You also worked on
Pam and Tommy?
Yes. So how did you get the gig? Did you audition?
I did. I auditioned in my living room here as with my wonderful lady as my reader.
Okay.
Yeah. So I auditioned one time. I sent in a self tape, and then I got a call back. And then the callback was with producers and everybody. You know, there was Craig Gillespie and the creator of the show, and one of the showrunners, DV and Robert Siegel. Yeah, they were all on the callback, a live callback, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then, since you were on that show, did someone say, hey, we got to get him on the studio as well? Or did you and Seth become friends? Or how did you audition for that as well?
Well, no, actually, yes, friends. Seth and I are we are working friends, not like we hang out.
Okay.
I wish,
but you met him on set.
I met him on set. Definitely.
Okay.
I met him. Yeah.
Well, because you seem to have a really good, like, chemistry when you two are on set together.
Let me tell you, that dude is a cool mother. Can we curse?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Seth Rogen is a cool motherfucker. Yeah. I think we do have chemistry that I hope we can take advantage of very soon later.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that we'll see you again on some of his other projects, but I don't know, even just the reel that you sent me, it was just a good reminder to see what you bring to the table, and it was just really fun.
Thanks.
It was really fun.
Thanks.
So, all right. What I guess we need to go back even further than that to the
Going
obvious
back.
question. What made you want to become an actor?
Wow. Okay. So I've always been, and my you'll find out by my Instagram handle, Larry the Pretender. I've always liked playing pretend. I embrace that shit. I don't know. I remember as a little kid, I don't know if you remember that cartoon He-Man.
Yes.
He-Man, yes, yeah. So I remember me and a couple of friends playing around, just running around the neighborhood, and it was like the first time that I got to role play. And when the older kid, Brett Lee, came in and said, "All right, you're gonna be Man at Arms, and this guy's gonna be He-Man, and this guy's gonna be Thundercat," and I remember getting so excited. And to be honest, I was like, "Who's Man at Arms? I don't know who Man at Arms is, but I'm gonna fucking give it a hell of a shot. I'm gonna give it a hell of a shot." So
You made it believable.
I made it believable, just playing around right around the corner. So and then in the fourth grade, I had gotten into some trouble as much as a fourth grader can get into trouble, but I was fighting a lot. And
Uh-huh.
right next to my house is a Catholic church slash school. And I was raised by my grandma. So my grandma switched me in the middle of my fourth grade year to it's called Holy Spirit Elementary. And on my first, it might have been my first day, I don't know, first week. Soon as it was not long after I got there, there was a teacher named Mr. Dayton, David Dayton. He's passed away now. I wish I've tried to reach out to him, but he's passed away now. But the school would every year would do plays, and they were having auditions for the Music Man when I got there. And it was, it was the older kids, the eighth graders, because the school went from elementary school all the way to the eighth grade. So the older kids did a version, and then the younger kids did a version.
Oh, that's cool.
And well, I think that my teacher just encouraged me. Go, Larry. You're new to the class. Just go to the audition. And there was two guys there. There was Dominic Mosler and Ronnie Maxwell. I can't believe I'm pulling these names out of my head so long ago. But anyway, they had been used to being in the place. And I remember we were in a theater, and Mr. Dayton was standing at the back of the theater, and we got on stage, and he gave us some lines to repeat. And Ronnie Maxwell got up there. He had done plays before, and Dave and Dominic Moser got up there, and they had done plays before, and they got up there and blah, 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 blah. And when I got up there, I was so shy because I was just at least that's what I remember. But anyway, I got the part of Music Man, and I don't really know how, to be quite honest. I was like, this must from the heavens. I'm not sure, but Mr. Dayton was so supportive, and I did the Music Man. I got out on stage, and I remember that first night getting out on stage and dancing and singing my little gig. And after it, everybody was clapping. It was probably fucking horrible, but the people were clapping, and I was bowing, and I was like, "This is it, baby. I love this shit."
Isn't that funny how that works?
I know,
You
I
get that
know.
bug and it's like, oh, and it's not just because you're getting this adoration. It's this the audience participation in,
Yeah,
it's the
yes,
feedback and it's
yes, that energy
yes.
that came from the crowd and also from your fellow castmates. It was wonderful. It was a great feeling. It was like where I belonged. And then also to like that was one thing. But then I also had another friend, and his name was Matthew Riddick. And so from the time that I was in I think I met Matthew around seventh grade or sixth grade, but fourth grade to seventh grade, I'm like, of course I'm a fan of all the television shows. Anybody who's black on television, I'm looking at him. Mr. T, anybody, Theo from the Huxtables, anybody. And I'm like, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actor, but too scared to say it. I don't just didn't bring it out. And I went over to Matthew Riddick's house one day. Hi, Matthew Riddick. If I haven't talked to you in a long time, bro. But I remember Matthew saying to me while we were playing with our Hot Wheels cars, I was at his house sitting in his living room, and he tells me, and at the same time, Michael Jackson's Billie Jean was on the television, and I think, and he had showed me. He's like, "Do you know who this dude Michael Jackson is?" And I was like, no. And we're and we're watching the video, and he's dancing on those lighted up squares. And I remember Matthew confessing to me while we're watching that video. He's like, I want to be an actor. And I was like, boom. I was like, oh my God, he said what I want. And I think Matthew Riddick gave me the courage to be like, oh, I can say that. I can say that
Yeah.
I want to be an actor. And, eventually Matthew and I, we ended up in encouraging our parents to get us into acting. And Matthew and I we entered acting class. So one time Matthew's mom would take us, another time my mom would take us. We went to these acting classes at San Diego State, I think it was. Don't quote me on that, but it was somewhere. And we ended up doing God, what's the name of that show? We did a scene from one of those from a show that was on television back then. And I remember again the crowd, like we had sat through, the class had many participants, so we had to sit through and watch each little scene. But when me and Matthew did our scene, our chemistry was so good, and the claps at the end was just like, yeah, okay, this is it, baby. This is what I like to do. I knew it from like fourth on to sixth grade. I just knew. I was like, I want to be an actor. I don't know how hard it's going to be or how practical that is, but yeah, I definitely like this shit. So
Well,
that's how it all started.
I'm glad that you got that positive reinforcement because you're, uh, you know, for you not to be sharing your gift with everybody would be a waste.
Ah,
Because
thank
I
you.
love everything that I've seen you in. And like even if I see you just come on the screen if I don't know that you're in something, I'll go, "Oh, we got to watch this. It's my friend Larry." Because you're really good at your craft.
Ah, thank you. Don't make me cry. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I might cry by the end of the day. I get emotional real easy. So,
It's
if you
okay. I do
start
too.
crying, it's okay.
It's okay. I'll wipe those tears. You wipe mine. We're good.
Okay. So, who were some of your influences? I mean, you were just talking about your friend, Matthew, but let's say
Yeah.
like an actor that you admired.
I really loved the one that I let me see. Silver Spoons. Who was it? Who was it in Silver Spoons?
Well, Ricky Schroeder
Ricky Schroeder, and then
and Jason Bateman, who everybody
Jason
loves.
Bateman, the black dude. I'm sorry, from
I can't
Will.
remember.
This is a story all about
Oh,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Will Smith?
No, not Will Smith, but his brother, the guy who played his brother. I can't even think of his name right now. The
Oh, yeah,
guy,
yeah, 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 yeah. I can't think of it either. This guy.
yes, Carlton, the guy who
Yes.
played. I'm so sorry if you're probably not watching this, but I'm so sorry I forgot your name. But yes, Carlton. I saw him on Silver Spoons, and also he was famous for doing that Michael Jackson commercial
Yes.
that was it Pepsi or
Yep.
Pepsi? Yes, and I wanted to be him so much, so bad, so bad. And then our late friend from the Cosby Show, the actor who played Theo Huxtable, who just passed away, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Oh man, I would watch him because we seemed to be going through the same things in life. Or he's a little older than me, but his problems with school and just being a boy. And I so yeah, him, Mr. T. I loved Mr. T.
It sounds like you and I watched the same lineup.
Yeah,
NBC Thursday nights.
that's that's exactly what it was. NBC. Yeah, exactly.
It was good.
So yeah, there's many others that are skipping my mind right now, but yeah, those are probably two of the main guys, just because they look so much like me, and I was so close in age to them that, yeah,
Oh,
I really
cool.
looked up to them.
So you mentioned when you were coming up that your parents put you in classes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So are you still in class now? Do you take classes now?
No, I do not. I do a lot of theater, which is my class, which is the way that I
You're practicing.
exercise my muscle. Right now I'm doing some. It's called the Poe Fest. So it's readings by Edgar Allan Poe, and we're doing that at a historical house down in San Diego. I've done that for a couple years, and I'm lucky enough in San Diego is a great theater town. We have a lot of theater. For you guys that don't know, if you're looking for some really good authentic theater, it's much different than Los Angeles theater because nobody in San Diego is trying to go to Hollywood for the most part.
Right.
So so yeah, I'm lucky that there are a lot of people that I've made connections with over the years who will call me in to do this or that or this or that. One of the things I'm doing this week that I'm really excited about, I used to work for a company called Playwrights Projects, and Playwrights Projects would go into schools and teach young kids how to write plays.
Oh.
I'm not much of a writer, but they would use me for and at the end of the teaching session they would invite professional actors in to come in and interpret this young person's plays, which is very rewarding to see, to to um to take it off the paper so that the kids can hear it out loud, because up until then they're just writing and you know they're just reading it out loud to themselves. But to have professional actors come in and interpret their pieces, to see them light up and to hear them laugh at things they didn't know they were going to laugh at is it's more rewarding than I could put into words. So Playwrights Project, I haven't worked for them in a while, but now they're doing a project where they go to jails, they go to prisons, and the jails, prisons, they have a theater department now, so they're writing plays, and they've invited the professionals actors in to come in and interpret their plays for them, which I'm
Wow.
super, I don't know why. I know why, but I'm super excited about that. It doesn't start until tomorrow. Usually they would actually go into the prisons, which I would love to do, but for some reason, something, I don't know, got mixed up and we have to record. So I'm going to be recording these, but next year I'll be definitely going into the prisons. So I'm excited to see the material that they read and do a cold read on it. I call it a frozen read because not really a cold read. I'm just going to pick up the paper and I'm just going to do what I do. And yeah, so
Well, that sounds pretty rewarding.
it's very rewarding to bring people's work to life. It's very rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it'll be some interesting
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, very
So,
interesting. Yeah,
so
so oh,
oh,
go
go,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, to answer your question about school, I don't do, or class, I don't do any classes anymore. I just do a lot of theater, which is, I just exercise that muscle, that acting
Okay.
muscle. Yeah.
Great. That's the way you do it. If you're not working, you're usually going to
Yes.
class, but you don't need to be
Yeah.
in class if you're working it. So there
There
you
you
go.
go.
Now
There you go.
I've learned more being on set and observing on some shows than actually being in class sometimes. So I
You
totally get it.
I can't tell you how helpful that has been. I've heard you talk a little bit about your extra background work, your stand-in work, and being friends with Reno. And Reno would take me. We became friends on a show that he was doing in San Diego. It was a really small show, but we became friends. And then when I got to Los Angeles, he knew how thirsty I was to be an actor. So he would take me around with him to auditions. And then he would call me anytime he was doing a show. Hey, LB, you got chance? You got time? I got a show. You want to be a stand-in? And I think that was some of the most important training that I could have, was being on set and just watching how professionals do it, like
Yeah.
invaluable,
Well, and that
invaluable.
was a question I had for you. Um, I thought you had told me you knew him before
Mm-hmm.
Good Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you had worked with him on other projects or if you were just friends, because a lot of times the actors, they will handpick who they would like to have as their stand-in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it worked for me differently, where I had worked with a crew for several years in a row and then
Right.
they'd bring me in. But
Right.
I think if you're so used to working closely with someone, but how valuable is that? I mean,
Oh.
just to go in there and do that. And you know what? You are so natural in front of the camera.
Oh, thank you.
I would just think the stand-in thing was probably just a little side hustle that you're like, yeah, I'll throw him a bone because he's my buddy.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Reno is very important in everything that I do. I always give Reno Wilson, go check him out. Great actor. I first saw him on the Cosby Show, and I remember his character. I was like, God, that's the smartest dude I know. And to be his friend was just like it was wonderful. Yeah.
It's fun
Yeah.
when those kind of things work out.
Right?
When we don't
Right?
when we, like, see somebody that we, for no better term, I guess, idolize, or we're watching as we're coming up, and then somewhere down the line, we meet them in person, and then we
Yeah.
become friends with them, and it's like, "Did I
Yeah.
manifest that? Or did they
Yeah.
manifest? How did we come together like that?" But
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to observe that.
Yeah, they say don't meet your idols because they'll disappoint you, but that is not the case with Reno. He was so cool. So I mean, he never treated me like as you know, sometimes in Hollywood, if you're not one of the main cast, sometimes you get treated a certain way as though you're not anything.
Right.
You're below them. And Reno
Yeah.
never did that to anyone I've known, and including myself. So yeah, much props to Reno Wilson.
Well, it sounds like we're both fortunate in the sense that we've worked with, cast and crew who treat you like an equal, and,
Yes.
you're not a piece of moving furniture.
Right.
And that's always
Right.
a plus.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So, okay, you're doing theater to keep your chops up.
Yes.
Well, whether it's theater or whether you're on set, do you ever have a director or a castmate that you remind them of someone else style-wise in your acting? Has anybody ever told you that?
No, not yet. But no, I haven't had someone express it to me in that way. Sometimes I get a little Sam Jackson. I like to pretend that I'm taking after oh God, he's skipping my mind is drawing a blank, but Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I like to pretend that I'm the young Morgan Freeman coming up, and when he moves out of the slot, I'll move in.
That would be a good place to move into, yeah. I'd have to agree with you on that one. Okay, so,
Yep.
as far as not directors, but family or friends, who do they tell you? I mean, who do they compare you to? Or
I
do they?
they don't. I don't really get any comparisons on people. Yeah, I don't get that
That's
from
probably
my
a good
family.
thing.
I think it is. I'm gonna carve my own road,
Yeah,
and carve my own road. Yeah. So, yeah, no one's ever expressed that I remind them of someone. No. Mm-mm.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of family, what was your life like growing up?
Ah, so I was born in nine. Oh, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna say
You can tell us your resume age. You don't have to tell us your real age, you can tell us your
Well,
resume age.
my mother passed away before my birth. She passed away when she was only 6 months in pregnancy.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
and luckily, she was at the hospital when she passed away. And it was like back then it was I'm a miracle baby. They labeled me a miracle baby. So she had passed away. They rushed her upstairs. They took me out. I spent couple months inside of an incubator. I was so small that my dad said that he could reach inside the incubator with the glove and pick me up, and I'd be in the palm of his hand. That's how small I was.
Wow.
um so I was raised by my grandma because my father was a young man at back then. My grandmother was a bit upset that her daughter had passed away,
Yeah.
and she wanted to show me, she wanted to make sure that I was on the right path more so than, my father wasn't a deadbeat dad by any means, but she was established. She had a house. My father was he was a young person. So
Mhm.
I was raised by my grandma as
Okay.
well as in the house. So it was my grandmother, as well as my grandmother had a son who had Down syndromes, Leon,
Mm.
my uncle Leon, but I called him my brother. So I was raised as I was when I raised he when I as being raised as being raised. He was my brother. I called him my brother, not my uncle. So yeah, that's how I that was the household I grew up in. She was born in 1929. She was a tough lady. Tough. No bullshit. Tough. Um yeah, and she laid down those rules, and yeah, she just tried to mold me the best that she could with the tools that she had to to tackle this crazy world that we're in, you know.
Well, it looks like she did a good job.
She did a great job. She did a great job. I love her to death. Love her to death. Yeah.
So, your uncle, you
Yeah.
do you do consider him like a brother,
Oh
or
yeah, he's my because when I yeah, as upon growing up, he's all I knew. He was right there. So he's my brother, my Uncle Leon, for
and is he
sure.
still around?
Unfortunately, he is not. He lived to what they call them super seniors because he had Down syndromes, like I said, and people with Down syndromes usually don't make it past, a certain age. But Leon made it to 60, 61,
Oh,
62.
wow.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this was about 5 years ago that he passed. So yeah, but he was a good guy. I ended up working for the city schools as a young person in the not in the Down syndromes, but in the special education department. I substituted for the special education department, basically like a glorified teacher's aide, and I would go into to classrooms who needed help, and I've done everything from I've changed more diapers than most moms. Put it
Oh,
like
wow.
that. Yes, I've
Wow.
I've done it more diapers than most moms for young kids with disabilities, which was a very valuable lesson in life. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's not everybody could do that.
Not everybody can, you're right. Not everybody can, but I've got my limits because I couldn't be like an emergency room nurse. I'm not good with blood and guts and stuff, but apparently I'm okay with cleaning up shit and piss. So,
Oh, well, I'm glad you're well-rounded.
not everybody could do the blood and guts. I couldn't do the blood and guts, but I can clean some asses. So,
Well, and we're going to get to another story about that later, but for now, what other interests did you have growing up? Like, were
Oh,
you
I
in
play.
sports or anything like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I went to an all boys high school, and you can't go to all boys high school without playing sports. So I played basketball and I ran track. Thought I might go to the NBA for a second, just for a hot second. I realized once we got some really good players at our school that I wasn't going to the NBA, but Jelani McCoy, he had actually ended up winning one or two rings with Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers. I played with him in high school. Um, Track. Oh, I was also in band. I played the trumpet.
Oh, you did?
I did. Here's a funny story. So one of the things I was looking forward to most when I went to high school was going to a high school acting class. I wanted to be in the high school acting class.
Right.
Boom, freshman year, I walk into acting class and it is full. It is so full that there is nowhere to sit by the time that I get to class. So the teacher says, I'm sorry, freshmen and sophomores, but there's not enough room in our acting class. You have to choose another elective. So I went to band, and didn't had no choice in it. I got assigned the trumpet. I didn't say,
Okay.
"Hey, Mr. Connie, I want to play the trumpet." I just got assigned the trumpet, and it turns out that I was kind of okay. I'm not the best. I don't even play it now. And if you asked me to play it now, you wouldn't get very good solid notes. But I was okay back then. I was a quick learner, and um, I ended up getting a small portion of my tuition for it's called St. Augustine's, the all boys private school. I got a small portion of my tuition paid for because of my trumpet playing all 4 years. So
Great.
yeah, I had a great time in band. It was
And
it
that's
was
the high school that you're talking about?
yeah, that's the high school, St. Augustine's. Some people refer to it as St. Augustine's, but St. Augustine's in San Diego, California. Yeah, it was an opportunity to perform in another way on stage in front of an audience than acting. So I, even though I didn't get to do any acting in high school, I did well, that's not true. I did a few plays outside of the school, but I didn't get to
Okay.
do any inside, with my classmates. So even though, yeah, it was I learned the trumpet and got to perform on stage every year. We did a little concert, and then I did marching band as well, and obviously playing at the football games and not at the basketball game because I was on the court doing my
Of
fizzle.
course.
But yeah, so trumpet band, and basketball and track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
I'm a college dropout, like Kanye.
Me
I
too.
went to I'm so embarrassed with that. Anyway, I went to Dillard
For what?
University.
Saying Kanye or dropping out
No,
of
no,
college?
dropping out of college. Yeah, my grandmother was not too happy with that decision. But I knew in college, I went to Dillard University in New Orleans.
Okay.
And another funny story is so I have a friend, Forrest Martin. We made friends, as well as a lot of other people. But Forrest Martin, this dude right here, oh, he was an actor too when he got to college, and he's a year above me. So he was already acting. By the time we got to college, this dude as a sophomore was getting paid to do plays off campus somewhere. And I couldn't tell you how much that blew my mind. I was like, you're getting paid to act and you're just this young dude that I'm smoking weed with? Are you kidding me? And I was so blown away by that. And so he picked that up, and we were doing at the time, the Dillard University had just opened their new theater. And the first play of the theater was a piano lesson by August Wilson. And Forrest was already in the play. He was playing the uncle. And there was a character, Boy Willie, he's the main character of the play. Boy Willie, I don't know, for whatever reason, the guy who got cast as Boy Willie couldn't do it anymore. And one day when we were at the duck pond is where everybody went to go drink beer and smoke weed. When me and Forrest are at the duck pond, he says, excuse me, he says, Larry, or Lawrence, they call me Lawrence. He said, hey, do you want to come try out for this play? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. And I got the script and I studied for a few hours and I went in. And by that time, I had done, like I said, I had done class with Matthew, like in the 6th grade. We'd done that for a couple of years. And I
Right.
had done one play with my sister. It was called Gangs at, she went to a creative and performing arts school, and she invited me over, and I got a little small part in that play. And that was the extent up until college of my theater. So not much.
Okay.
And Forrest said, do you want to come audition for this play? Yeah, I studied the play. And I go, and it's just me and the director in her office, little small office. And I started reading, and she's like, have you done this before? You are really good. And my ego not my ego, but my confidence boosted. I'm like, whoa, yeah. And she cast me in the play. And we kicked ass, man. We went on there on that stage. I don't know if you know anything about August Wilson, but he's a great playwright that speaks to the African American experience, especially in the 60s, 50s, 40s. He speaks. I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. But
That's
anyway,
okay.
he speaks to the African American community. So it was the first time that I read it, and they sometimes compare August Wilson to Shakespeare, and I think it's because his work has a poetry, has a music to it, has a musicality to it. And when I was saying these words, it's kind of difficult text for some people who don't know it, but it just seems like it was like I was calling on my muse. It came so like effortless to me. Like I just felt like this is my uncle talking right now. This
Did
is
you feel like something was channeling?
Yes, definitely. And I've felt that way all through my acting career when I've done great work. It's like I just hopefully I can just let everything go and just let it come in and do what I do. And yes, so
There
we
are
have
certain actors that I recognize that, and when I'm watching you, I see it.
yeah,
I'm
thank
like,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
something just overtakes you and you
Yeah.
allow it, and I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
that's
love that about your work.
thank you. Thank you. That's one of the biggest lessons that I could have learned is just to kind of let that muse take over, you know? Yeah, so it's really easy on stage for me to just let that I don't give a fuck what I look like on my I could care less what I look like. I'm just in it. Not so with television because you're kind of concerned with when you're in theater, everything is big because you're on
Right.
the stage and you got and because you're an artist, you're a musician, you're on stage, you're performing for a couple hundred, few hundred people. So when you say a line, you got to give it to them here, but then you also have an audience over here, so you got to be big over here, and it fits my personality to be big.
Right.
I'm big,
Right.
but in television, be so big.
Yeah.
You got to stay still.
Yeah, you've got that down.
And that's I've been working on it. I've been working on it.
It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, you gotta be in there. I almost think of it like I'm performing for um a bunch of tiny little people that are in the camera, and if I go too big, they're gonna be like, "Oh
That is a great way to explain it. I've never heard
my
anyone say it like that.
god!" Yeah,
That's
so
really awesome. Well, and I think you answered my question. I was going to ask you, when did you start working? What was your first job? But I didn't necessarily mean with acting. So was that acting gig your first job across the board? Or had you
um
had another, like when you went to college and your
uh-huh.
buddy got you this audition and
Uh,
whatever?
are you saying it's my first jobby job, like real job?
Job, like anything.
Oh, no, no, no. In high school, I worked at a movie theater. I worked at SeaWorld. SeaWorld was my first job. Yeah, as
Oh, what
a
did you do there?
oh, here's a great story too. I can't believe.
Okay.
Okay. So, SeaWorld, I was a vendor, okay?
Okay.
And I would sell soda, popcorn, pizza, popcorn, soda. I would sell that. That's how. And at the Shamu show, at the Dolphin show down in San Diego. And the first time I got a really big crowd to clap for me without having being on stage was being a vendor. I would I would go so at the Dolphin Stadium. There's really steep steps. So it's the stadium kind of seating, really steep stairs. Excuse me. And I would start at the top of the stairs selling popcorn, and I would go popcorn, and I would hold that corn and
What, you would hold it with your
with my
sound, or
voice,
you
just
would
like
hold the
that.
corn? Oh,
I would
okay.
hold the corn as well as my voice.
Okay.
Popcorn, and I would walk down the stairs slowly as an exercise of how much breath I had, and I would get to the bottom for sale or something like that, and I would finish it off with a popcorn here for sale, and I remember the whole stadium I wasn't trying to get them to clap. I was just trying to get people to buy my popcorn. And the whole stadium started clapping. And then my fellow workmates come over. It's like, how did you get them to clap for you? And then it just became a thing. I would just do that, and I would
Did
I would
they did your coworkers ever try and compete
no
with
how
you and try and do anything else?
no
They just let you
no
have the show.
they had to just let me
They're
have
like,
the
we can't follow that.
show. No, but that was one of those times where people are clapping for me, and I'm like, yes, sir, this is what you're supposed to do, because a lot of times you think that it's not possible, and especially expressing it to my grandma. She wanted me to follow the educational road, be a lawyer, or just something professional, get your education, and she wasn't with the acting. She wasn't too encouraging on that front, unfortunately. But I understand why, because it's a hard fucking world out here. And being born in 29, seeing what she's seen, I can only imagine what she was thinking. He wants to be an actor? What? There's like 7 black people on television. How the fuck?
Yeah.
So, but that clap was another like boost of confidence. Like I've got something. People are willing to clap for me, and I like it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep doing
So
it.
keep doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep doing it. Yeah.
Okay, so those are some of the jobs that you had when you were younger, and
Yeah.
we all know that when someone like you who is a working actor, sometimes we still have to hustle and do
Mm,
side
mm,
gigs, or we're spinning plates.
mm.
juggling stuff around. What other kind of jobs have you had?
Okay, so I've always wanted to be. I have been a waiter, but not in Hollywood, not in L.A. But I figured I was like I could be a waiter in L.A. But for whatever reason, I don't even think I tried to apply to be a waiter at any place in L.A. I was my Hollywood jobs were gig jobs, Uber. Right now I still do gig jobs. I do Amazon delivery packages. So yeah, I feel
And
what
that's
else would I
because
do?
it gives you the flexibility that you need to go
Definitely, definitely,
audition or
definitely gives me the flexibility. Another job I work was with great flexibility. Down here in San Diego, there's a production company called Stu Siegel Productions, and I've done a lot of. Oh, sorry, I left out the main one. Extra background work.
okay.
I've done a lot of extra background work. Even before I got to LA, I was doing extra background work in San Diego. Um, for Veronica Mars. Remember that
Okay.
television
Yeah, yeah,
Veronica
yeah.
Mars? I was Christopher B. Duncan stand-in. So it wasn't the first time that I being a stand-in working for Reno. I've done stand-in plenty of times. And then I was Reno stand-in down here in San Diego. But yeah, I've done extra work. Gig, all kind of gig works. Strategic operations. I forgot. Let me get back to strategic operations. So they used to do a lot of TV shows, but after a point, something happened. They don't do any more TV shows, but they did this thing called strategic operations, where they would train this is right around Desert Storm time too. Operation Desert Storm. They would train military personnel in how to operate overseas, and they would use actors as insurgents or whatnot. So I'd get dressed up like a Muslim or
Oh,
a
wow.
jihad or whatever, and I'd get to the funnest job. I would do that job right now. It was the funnest job I've ever had. I got to play with M16s. I got to have guns. I got to have knives. I got to run around the Camp Pendleton and attempt to assassinate soldiers.
It took you back to your He-Man days, didn't it?
Took me back to my He-Man days. One time we did a job where they gave us this old broken down car at Camp Pendleton, and we had a map. This was before MapQuest or the internet. And we had a map, and we just had to navigate our way around the Camp Pendleton, around the designated area, and run into roadblocks and try to talk our way out of it. And such a fun time. Sometimes the soldiers get you out, and they're just young kids. They're all nervous, and they want to do everything that's right. And they got me on the ground and I'm talking my way out of stuff, and it was.
Were you playing the part for real, or were you using your own accent?
Oh no, I was in there, baby.
You were in it to win it.
I was in it to win it, and I don't know how good my accent was.
Oh my goodness!
I wasn't giving regular old San Diego American Larry Brown accent. I was African. I'm talking very direct to you. You understand what I'm saying? So
okay.
I was in there. Yeah.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
One of the funnest jobs I ever had.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to something that you told me. I think you told me this story, but I want you to tell it.
Okay.
And it was while you were carrying a passenger as an Uber driver.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the story you said you had a unique individual get in your car and ask you to do something? Do you remember this? Okay, let's go back further. In our conversation, earlier today, you said that you knew you were good at wiping asses.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the story you told me?
No, please remind me. No.
I didn't want to be the one to say it because I wanted your delivery in it. I wish I could whisper it in your ear. I think you told me that you picked up this dude and you're just driving him, wherever to his destination, and he asks you.
Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that.
Will you tell this story?
Oh, I forget exactly what he said to me. He said,
I remember.
Oh yeah, I remember the whole circumstance. I was in Los Angeles, and I picked this guy up, a young guy in Culver City, thin frame, and didn't have a jacket on, which was I don't know if that's part of the story, but anyway, I drove him all the way. I drove. Where did I drive him to? Maybe North Hollywood or something, and we didn't say anything the entire ride, and when he I know what we didn't say anything to each other the entire ride. And it's time to let him out of the car. Okay, sir, you've arrived at your destination. And then he almost gets out and he peeks back in. He's like, "Do you like to eat ass?"
So he was already out of the car?
He was, halfway out. He
Oh,
got out,
okay.
then stuck
He
his
just
head
kind of
back
did a
in.
little peek back.
Like, hey, I better ask him while I got the chance.
And
I,
and you
I,
said
I, I don't remember
you,
exactly what I said, but
you didn't say yes.
I know. I didn't flip out on it.
Okay.
Is what I'm getting at. But
Okay.
what did I
I
tell
feel
you?
like you told me that you just said no. And
Yeah.
like you can close the door now.
It was definitely something like that. I didn't yell at him or scream at him or say what the fuck, but I was just like so taken back. It was just it was something like no, no, and then yeah.
Did he give you a good rating?
I I never looked. I never checked.
Okay. You're like, I got to move on from this. Oh my
Oh man,
goodness.
I don't even think I told my lady that. I gotta tell her that. That's such a funny. I forgot all about that. I could still see this young dude's face too. Yeah. Do you like to eat ass?
And it makes me wonder, does this person actually want to know that, or are they just trying to get a reaction from
Oh
people?
no, he wanted to know that because he was down for the ass eating. He was. It was like
Oh my gosh.
at
I
that
just
time.
lost the camera.
At that time, I was doing a graveyard shift, so I wouldn't start work until like 9 o'clock, and I wouldn't come home until like 3 o'clock. So it was
Okay.
in those hours, and it was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. So he was definitely looking for some action.
All right. Some action. Good Lord.
Hilarious! I can't believe you remembered that, but I
Oh,
understand why.
yeah. I remember stuff. I remember everything, actually.
Oh
But,
man, yeah, that's good. That's a talent.
yeah. So, all right. So we're going to bring it back
Mhm.
down a little bit. So, do you have a manager or an agent
I
or
do.
both?
I do. Tom Bigsby at Brave Artist Management is my manager. What's up, Tom? And then Carrie Macy at Carrie Macy Talent Agency, and I love Carrie, and I don't think I'll ever let Carrie go because in a time where it's always difficult. I think it's difficult for everybody to get an agent.
Right.
Difficult for everybody to get an
Yeah.
agent. She took me on. She saw. I did. Who was the girl that stood in for Loretta the first season that I was there? The one with the
Uh,
European accent.
oh,
She was from
the
England.
first. Oh, that was Joyce.
Joyce, yes. So Joyce and I got together and we said, let's do a reel because I didn't have a
Oh,
reel at
that's
the
right. I
time.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm looking for an agent, and then I figure out, oh, not only do you have to have pictures and somewhat of a resume, you need to have a reel to see so you can show people what you look like on television.
And you didn't
So
have one at that point?
I did not have one, had nothing. I didn't have a reel.
Wow.
Yeah. So Joyce and I got together and we did a reel. And it came out good. It came out. I still looking at it now, even though during the process I was like, "Oh no, I think I'm fucking up." But when I saw the final edit, I was so happy with it. So I used that edit. I used that to submit to my manager. And there was a thing online on one of the acting websites, maybe it was Actor Access, where you could submit. If you didn't have an agent, you didn't have a manager, you could submit. You could put yourself in the pool
Right.
of persons seeking representation. And Carrie found me, saw me on that, saw that saw that reel, that one fucking reel from a fake show that we've, and I had the credit from Good Girls on my resume as well, which I'm sure that helped, and I'm sure that Reno or somebody that liked me at Good Girls is the reason I got that co-star. But Carrie took me on, and she's a little powerhouse. You know, I love her. I know that she's not the most powerful. There's lots of powerful agents out there, but she took me on, and she submits the shit out of me, and she's the one who submitted me for Pam and Tommy. And she's always, you know, during my actor crisis when I'm freaking out, she's always strong right there for me. Like, you could do this, you know? So,
Well, sometimes I think it works out better in our favor when we have somebody who might not be at the top of the
yeah,
biggest
hungry.
agency because, yeah, well, they're hungry, but they also have more time for you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you're not on a list of these people
yeah,
that they have to take care of, and
yeah.
they prioritize you, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
We've actually had agents. There's some agents that are from the San Diego theater world that I don't know personally that are in some good agencies, and I submitted to them, and they was like, nope, nope. Everybody like, nope, nope, nope. I went to Carrie. She was like, yes. And
Good,
hey, I love her.
good.
I love her.
Okay, so
Hope I can take her to the top.
let's review a little bit. You can give me an approximate because I know you don't want to give your age.
Yeah, yeah.
But how long now have you been acting?
Well, I mean, I started in fourth grade, so that was my first time.
What,
So, you
let's say
know,
from your first paid acting gig.
my first paid acting gig, 30 years.
Okay.
30 some. And when I say my first paid acting gig, that's theater. That's like getting paid like $200 or $300 a week for you know, for doing some theater. That's the first time I got paid for acting was probably about 30 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how has the industry changed? Because I know, I
Oh,
mean, when I moved out here 20 something years ago, it's so, like, even in a few years, just even the headshots they went from black and white to
yeah.
color and,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
what has changed and what do you like and what don't you like about it?
Oh, there's way more that I don't like about it now. How has it changed? Oh, well, one way that has changed is you don't have to go in person to audition anymore. You can audition from home, which I like in some ways, and I don't like in other ways because I think my personality would get me jobs if I was able to go in and kind of schmooze and smile it up and show what a
Did,
good. Hmm?
go ahead.
No,
Did,
just
did COVID change that or did it change before?
no. COVID changed that. Yeah, COVID definitely changed that. After COVID, nobody could be within 6 feet of each other, blah, blah, blah. So you can't go into the casting office, which, I'm glad we're bringing this up because I want to talk about auditioning because auditioning sucks. It sucks. But yeah, you used to have to go back in the day, you get an audition. All right. You get an audition and they're like, okay, remember, and back then I'm just getting small stuff. So you get an audition, they give you a week or so to memorize the lines. And then you have to um, rehearse your lines, rehearse your lines, rehearse your lines. You got to know them. You got to know them like the back of your hand, especially when you get into in front of an agent or instead of in front of a casting director, because you just don't want to freeze. And that will happen. You will freeze. So you audition, and then you're rehearsing, you're rehearsing, rehearsing. Then you have to drive across LA traffic in the middle of fucking LA traffic, and you have to arrive at this fucking building in the middle of the busiest part of LA. You have to find parking, and then you got to fucking walk to this office, and then you go into this office, and then there's like tons of people that look just fucking like you, and then you have to wait while each person does their audition, depending on what your call time was. You're listening to them, I'm listening to them, trying to get little cues through the door. And then you have to build yourself up to peak your
Hmm.
performance when you enter that room,
Right.
which is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
It's ridiculous. hated it. Oh my God, I hated that part of it. I didn't mind, and they're kind of moving kind of fast too. So you don't all the time get to, really get to show your personality with the casting directors. And most of these that I'm referring to now are commercial auditions. I've done hundreds, maybe even thousands of commercial auditions. But so now since COVID and you get to do it at home. Oh, another thing I used to do, and when I auditioned, I noticed that I would get really nervous when it was time to audition.
Mm.
And see, when you do a play, you get the piece, you rehearse, you practice it at home, you memorize your lines, you do your homework. You go in for a rehearsal, and you've got rehearsals for a month and a half, and you're working that piece out with fellow actors. You're working it out, and by the time you get on stage, you're golden, because you've had all this rehearsal. When you do television acting, it's like it's all you. You have to rehearse on your own. And if you don't have someone who's willing to rehearse with you, then you're really on your own. So
Yeah.
what I would do, and I realized that I would get extremely nervous when it was time to stand in front of the casting director, mainly because I hadn't rehearsed with anyone. I just all rehearsed inside of my head.
Okay.
And you would get up in front of the casting director and words would fall out of your mouth. Like what was I supposed so what I would do, finally figured out, and it helped me so much. I would get like a $10 bill and I would change it all into ones. And I would, before my audition, like hours before my audition, I would walk around my neighborhood. I lived in Culver City, and I'd walk around my neighborhood and I would stop random people and I would say, I will give you $2 to listen to me say my lines. So that
wow.
the first time that I auditioned in front of so that when I auditioned in front of the casting director, it wasn't the first stranger that I had performed in front of.
Wow.
And
did
helped.
you read this or hear it from somebody, or did you just come up with this?
I just came. I was forced into it because I was so sick. I knew that I was a good actor, but I knew that sometimes I would crumble in front of the casting director, and then I was like, you need more rehearsal. I need to get in front of because it was all about performing in front of somebody that I didn't know. So I was like, I need to perform in front of a few different people before I go perform in front of the one who's going to grant me the job.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I would do. I would walk around and I would sit there and I'd be like, she looks okay. She looks like she might have some time for me. And I'd be like, I'll give you $1. I'll give you $1. I'll give you $2. I'll give you $5 if you just listen to me say this. And most people, I don't think I had anybody say no. Most people were in LA. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully, everybody, thank you. Most people said yes. And I would get my little practice out of that way, and it would be a little better. Not perfect, but it would be much better for auditions to use that little trick. So if you're an actor and you're willing,
well, that's brilliant.
I would suggest, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, in the auditioning process now,
yeah,
are they calling people out to go to the auditions anymore, or do you have a choice in either going or submitting tape, or how?
You do have a choice to go in sometimes, not all the times. I think initial auditions are just, they want you to send something in. But sometimes they will say, hey, you have an option of doing this in front of a casting director. Now, the first time that I was offered this, I was like, hell yeah, let's go in. I told my manager, he was like, you have the option to go in or do it on tape. I was like, let me go in. I want to wine and dine them, So not wine and dine them, but I want to impress them with my personality. So the first time that they offered that, and I'm not even going to say the casting director, but when I did say yes, they turned it down. They were like, oh, no, we something happened. I don't know. For whatever reason, they didn't allow me to come in. So I ended up taping the auditions. But every now and then for an audition, they'll be like, you have the option to come in if you want. But this is my theory. Okay, just like I was explaining that whole audition process. Now, imagine you being a casting director and you have to cast this one role. Well, actually, you're probably casting a bunch of roles, but you're probably seeing 30, 40 people for each role, right? So the casting director, you walk in and the casting director's got the camera set up and they got the line set up for you. And they're like, okay, you ready to read? And you're ready to read. And then you read. And then sometimes you mess up. You got to do two or three takes, right? So then after that, the casting director's done this 30, 40 times. They're probably so sick of it by then, especially if you got not so talented people or not so interesting people.
Right.
And then on top of that, they have to take the footage themselves. So the casting director has to hire somebody, basically. They gotta hire this office building. They gotta hire an intern or not hire an intern, but they got to get an intern to run these auditions. And then they got to get an intern to go through every single video and edit them. And you know how much work that must be?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of it. Even when, I'm auditioning for myself and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to audition, even for myself. You got to get the lighting right. You got to sound, you got to edit the shit.
Yeah.
So I think that the casting directors have no intentions of returning to what it used to be because it's so much work. They can sit in their living room. And I'm not taking anything away from casting directors because I know how much work it is. It's a lot of work. Now they can sit at home. They can work from home from their computer. They can send out the casting notices and people send in already pre-edited videos. They don't have to worry about an office space. They don't have to worry about upsetting their neighbors because all the actors are taking up the parking space. I can't tell you how many notes I saw when you walk into a casting office and they say, don't park over here, you're going to get towed. And there's no parking in LA.
Exactly.
You're parking a mile away and you're walking in sweating. And
yeah, everything's against you when you're, it's like, really? And people bust their ass to get to those auditions because they want it so bad. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any intent. I think that they throw that option. Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from any casting directors. Please call me in. But I don't think they want to return, and nor would I want to return to fucking edit all these. Like I'm sure if you audition 30 people, I've been fortunate to be able to sit in a casting, and it sucks because most people are not good, and I can only imagine what it's like to just all day listen to, oh, here's Tommy's role, and then okay, now Philip, and it's probably horrible. So
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from it. I think, so yeah, I think maybe, yeah, hopefully I get to the point where I don't have to audition anymore. And I know there's a lot of actors, you're at that point where you don't have to audition,
Right.
But unfortunately,
well, you've probably created a lot of friendships though with some of these casting directors that you've seen.
I've got some ride or die. I've made fans. I've made fans with a few casting directors, and they've expressed this to my agent. And I've been put on a veil for a bunch of big projects that didn't actually come through. I was just on a veil for Spider-Man. God damn it. I didn't even have to audition. I just got a call and they were like, Larry, you're on a veil. It's filming in Europe. Blah, 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 blah. And, that was obviously a fan of mine. And I've got some fans. I've made a few fans, and you only need a couple in the casting director world. So, and it's all about just being there at the right time, because I've like I said, I've been in casting, and when you're and I've written a few things, and when you write things, you've got a specific idea of what that character is like. And unless you're the greatest actor in the world, you're probably not going to change the mind of what the physicalities of. So it's pretty difficult. I can understand. So
yeah.
Well,
are you still submitting yourself at all, or do you just leave that to your agent and or manager to take care of you?
Oh no, I don't submit myself anymore because they get access to opportunities that I couldn't dream of. So no, I'm not. I haven't even looked. Maybe I should though, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think if I did find something, I'd probably reach out to my manager and be like, hey, can you see if you can get me in for this? Because I can't really do anything unless it's probably one of the casting directors that I already know. And then in that case, I really don't need it because my agent and my manager already have a relationship with them. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have an acting technique that you prefer, or?
I got lucky that when I was in church, there was Professor Dr. Gaffney who taught who taught acting here in San Diego at one of the universities, San Diego University. And he took me under his wing. He saw my potential and my talent and took me under his wing, and he's classically trained. And I worked with Dr. Gaffney and his very talented daughter, Monique Gaffney, for quite a few years. And so I would say, since I dropped out of college, I would say that I'm classically trained. I am. I'm classically trained. So, I take in the feels, the sounds, the smells, the everything. What's right in front of me is what I respond to, which is why auditioning can be so difficult sometimes because, you know, you've got to like in the script it's like, oh, you're in wherever you're in the coffee office, you're in the office of a building or whatever, but in real life I'm in my bedroom with a blue curtain behind me and a and my tripod in front of me and the wallpaper in my room, and it's hard. And my acting partner is usually on camera as well.
Right.
And it's difficult to try and put yourself in that room where you're supposed to be. It's difficult to imagine in that spot, or even, imagining that your character, your reading partner is who he or she says they are, because they're just not right in front of you. You can't hear them, you can't feel them, you can't there's a lot missing. So two-dimensional on the camera when it's much more when it's in person. So why I hate that's why I hate auditioning on camera, because it's much different when you get on set. It's so easy when you get on set. Like, Seth is right in front of me, the couch is right there, you got the construction going on, Stan Sebastian's right there. It's like, it's easy. Like, okay, I say my lines, you say this, I say this, I understand what you're saying. But when you're doing this two-dimensional thing, and it's frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating.
Yeah. What about photographers? Do you have a photographer that you like to go to, or do you go to somebody new when you have to have new headshots taken or anything like that?
I have moved around photography for a long time until I found, and I can't even, I wish I could say his name, but I can't say his name. Maybe I'll give it to you later. You can include it, because he's really good. He's a really talented photographer. But now I know how important your headshots are. And this guy, he puts he does great things with lighting and shadows and so forth. And most times and when you're taking headshots, you're taking pictures, you're smiling, trying to look cool.
Yeah.
You're trying to emote all these different things. My first photographer, Kelly Squire Taylor, I remember her name. She was a great photographer. But when I worked for this dude, when I worked with this guy, he would be like, no smiling, just give me a normal face. And my headshots turned out so bomb, so like there was no emoting.
He captured you.
Yes, he just captured who I was without me trying to pose and look all good, because that's basically what you want to do, is look good. But he just was like, he set the lights up, got that shadow just right, and he was just closed lips, give me a little smirk, just kind of give me a look to the left. And so simple, so easy. I would put so much pressure on myself in my previous shoots, just trying to emote what I thought was wanted or was needed.
Right.
And he hits it on point. On point.
Yeah, we'll have to get
that photographer's name. I want to share that information, because I'm you sure guys, if you're listening and you want to know, please refer back to the notes, because I'm going to reach out, because he's a really good guy. He's very quiet, and you would probably think that he doesn't like you, but he's just in his own. He's just in his own. He's an artist. He's really an artist. His art is photography, and he does it very well.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a weird question, maybe.
Shoot.
Have you ever had, well, maybe it's not a weird question. Have you ever traded favors for an acting gig? Like, I know for chicks it's kind of like the casting couch thing.
Oh.
And no. I know and that's not where I was going with it.
Okay.
but I do hear as many men go through that in Hollywood as women.
Mm.
But I was thinking more along the lines as, like for instance, I wasn't pursuing acting, but I stood in for 20 years. And
Yeah.
so they would throw me a bone every once in a while and give me a part just
Yeah.
out of appreciation. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I kind of consider that a favor because it was reciprocated,
Yes. Yes. Never have been offered. One time there was I'm not going to say her name. There's a casting director in LA, and I had did a small theater piece for her, and um she called me up. So this is before I had any credits. So in my head, any casting director is super important to me at the time. I don't even. If you're a casting director, you're like, please be my friend. So anyway, she calls me up and invites me out to lunch. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is what's supposed to be fucking happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to lunch. The casting director invited me. Boom, 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 or coffee or whatever it was. It was coffee or something like that. But it comes to find, we just had a simple little talk, and I was like, is she attracted to me? Is she? Uh, but I didn't give off any energy whatsoever. I was
Okay.
in a
You're
relationship
very
at the
professional.
yeah, I was in a relationship at the time, and yeah, so it comes out later that she's dating in this theater project that I worked in. There was another black guy similar to myself looking, bald head, handsome guy, just a little shorter than me. And they ended up becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. So I wondered, I was like, I wonder if she was fishing for some
Yeah.
booty, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I
Under the
think I
guise
think
of
we pick up on that sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah, we know
yeah,
what's going on. But it
yeah.
can't hurt, if you got to as long as you're doing it in a setting that's going to keep you out of trouble, sometimes you got to go check it out and make sure that it's,
Right,
on the up
right,
and up, but
right. We didn't even talk about any. I'm thinking we're going to talk about possible gigs, and I'm going to submit you to them.
right.
We're talking. We're talking about the most random personal shit. I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
Well,
no.
do you have a favorite project that you've worked on?
So I would say that my favorite, if I could go back in time and just, I'm gonna live on this set right now. It would probably be Pam and Tommy. It was a fun time. It was a fun time, great energy. Seth brings a great energy to the set. And honestly, the being on set is my happy place. Being on
Mm-hmm.
stage is my happy place too, but I'm really happy when I'm on set. I'm even when I'm just a stand-in, I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm just happy to be there, just to
Yeah.
be there and see it all. So my favorite would be Pam and Tommy. But when I look back at my projects that I've done, and one that's not so popular is the one I sent you. I think you should leave
Oh
with
yeah.
With Tim Robinson. I love that. I love that skit so much, and I learned so much watching Tim on set, watching him do his thing on set behind the camera because he's kind of directing and acting at the same time.
Right.
And I just got to saw him. I just got to saw him riff for a little while, and like one of those things like so when you're acting and you're saying your part, and you got the camera recording, whatever. Sometimes you mess up. You're like, and me, my instinct is sometimes to be like, oh fuck, I fucked up. That's just my instinct.
Right.
Let's start over because that's kind of like from the
Yeah.
theater. And when you do that, the cameraman, the director, they gotta stop. They gotta stop the camera. Okay, cut, cut. Set it back up. Da, da, da. And then Tim, this is what Tim would do. So he would be riffing, and he would mess up, and then he would just be like going again, and then he would just start riffing again, riffing and riff, and then he mess up. I'm going again, and then so there was never that pause, never that I fucked up. Oh no no. So the camera never had to stop, and then they were just able to go into the editing room and just pick what they wanted. And that was
Exactly.
the biggest lesson that I learned. I was like, oh, Larry, don't stop. Just say going again. Or, I haven't got a chance to actually put that into practice, but I plan to. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I would think that would come very easy for you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now that I know,
Yeah.
when I saw him do it, a big light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh, he didn't stop and get all out of it. He was just like, I messed up. I'm going again. And
Yeah.
then he would just continue on with his lines. And then you're just able to edit because in theater, you can't mess up. you
Yeah.
gotta work your way through it if you mess up. You gotta make
As well as the other characters. And their eyes get really big, like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Has that happened to you a lot?
Where I mess up on stage? Oh, it's happened, definitely. I don't want to say a lot, but it's happened. But I've worked my way through that first play I was telling you about, piano lesson, August Wilson. First opening night, first scene, I freeze, and just like you said, you see your character, your co-actor's eyes get big, and the girl who was playing Bernice at the time, I saw her eyes get big, and she just saw the blankness in my face. And I think we skipped a few lines, but she got me back on track.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was smooth sailing. After I got over that first bump, I was like, oh, okay, we got this. And so a lot of times in theater, me, when I'm doing theater or a reading or whatever, I want to be word perfect. I don't want to fuck shit up. I want to honor the artist. I want to get everything right. But that's not possible all the time because we're human.
Right.
So I actually now, if I'm doing a theater piece, I almost kind of look forward to that little bump because then I can just get over it. Just let it happen. Let the fuck up happen. We're human, and then it's smooth sailing after that usually for me. Or even when a fellow actor messes up, I'm like, okay, there goes the bump for the show. Now we're smooth sailing, baby. We got all the bumps out of the way now. Let's fucking
so you
let's
can
ride this wave.
easily let it go.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to. If you stay in that, it's going to mess you up the rest of the time.
It's good. Yeah. You can trip over your shoestrings looking at the bump. So yeah.
Do you? I know I still have these dreams, but I had them a lot when I was younger. Having the anxiety dreams of not you're the lead in a show and you get to stage and you don't know any of your lines.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have those dreams?
I don't have those dreams. I have those thoughts, but I've never dreamt about it.
Well, I'm glad that you don't, because they are the biggest nightmares ever.
Oh my God. But I've experienced a lot of anxiety thinking that exact thing. Thinking that, what's helped? I'm a big podcaster. I love podcasts. I love them. I think they're the new thing. But hearing other people express the same thing, the imposter syndrome, the anxiety. I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and he had Smokey Robinson on, and Smokey Robinson said, he admitted, sometimes I'd be up there and singing it and I'd be freaking out inside.
Yeah.
And to hear somebody like Smokey Robinson say that, as well as a lot of other people, to hear other people just admit to that. And then, I've heard, then Joe Rogan will explain, it's just a thing your brain will do. It'll try to play a little trick on you. And it's been so helpful because now if I experience that, and I have experienced that, even in these readings, sometimes I'll mess up and then my brain will be like, oh shit, you just messed up, Larry Brown. What are you doing? Are you doing the character right? And then I say to myself, oh, that's my brain trying to protect me, trying to play that little trick. Just breathe. You got this. Yeah. And that has been a game changer for me to hear other people who I didn't know experience the same thing. Cause we're out here, we're in a vacuum. We don't know what other people are experiencing, but to hear other actors, other professionals explain the imposter syndrome and trying to work their way through it has been extremely beneficial to me. And I don't know if it will affect me in the same way anymore. And I'm excited to exercise that.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
All right. So not in relation to anything that you've worked on, but what's your favorite movie?
There's a lot of movies that I really love. Let's see.
Give me maybe top 5.
Okay, and two of them are Mel Gibson's
Okay.
movies. My favorite movie when I was oh no, let me start with my first favorite movie. The Usual Suspects.
Good one.
Yes. Okay. Great movie. Uh, Braveheart. I love that love story.
Yes.
That freedom. Fuck.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
You
I'll
get chill
still.
bumps thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Apocalypto. Have
I
you,
don't think I've seen that.
that is Mel Gibson's direct. I don't. It's not his debut, but he directed that movie. It took
Okay.
place. It took place in like in a jungle. It was like the Mayans or one of those I think it was the Mayans, one of the temple builders.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is a great movie. Go watch it. Oh,
Okay. I'll check it out this weekend. This
all
next
the
weekend.
actors are not actors. They were all new.
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody was new, but it's a great ride. And anybody that's watched it, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Apocalypto. Please go watch it. Um Ready Player Ready Player One.
And I haven't seen that one either. I remember everybody talking about it on set.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite movies too. It's kind of animated, but yeah. Um, yeah, those are probably my tops right
What
now.
about
Yeah.
TV shows?
You know, I know it's kind of taboo, but the Cosby Show. I loved. I grew up.
That was a great show.
I grew up on the Cosby Show. I grew up on it, and I'm
We all
sad as
did.
yeah,
We
yeah,
all did. It was a fantastic show.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
Yeah. The Mayor of Kingstown, love that show. Lioness. Oh,
Okay.
I love that show. Yellowstone.
Yep. You
The
worked
show.
on Yellowstone, right?
Yes, yes. I worked on Yellowstone was the first show that I booked right out of COVID. Or no, during COVID.
Oh,
During COVID.
wow.
And it
So
was
did you
really
go to Montana or where were they
went
shooting?
man, I can't tell you how excited I was. Because I hooked it, booked it, and my manager said, "You booked Yellowstone." And at the time, it wasn't as popular as it is now. But I was like, "Cool, all right, cool." I was like, "Where are we filming?" She said, "Montana." The first time I've ever been flown out for a job, I almost jumped out of my fucking skin. You mean they're gonna send me to Montana? Yeah,
And it's
it was
beautiful there.
beautiful, big sky
Gorgeous.
country. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. I floated down a river on my off time. Never done that
Oh,
before.
wow.
Yeah, I got to meet Taylor Sheridan on set. Um, great, great talent. God, Taylor Sheridan's a talented dude.
I think
He's
I
the
saw today that he got a new contract with
oh
NBC. He's leaving Paramount.
oh
I think I
man,
saw that today. If I may be quoting, I hope I'm saying it right. I think it's NBC, but yeah, I think he's moving.
yeah. We were matter of fact when we were on Yellowstone, it was still during testing. It was in the early days of testing, so we had to test every day. And I recognized Taylor, and I was like, "Oh, dude, can we take a picture?" And he was like, "Man, you know, he's a cool motherfucker. He's a dude's dude. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He ain't no
yeah, you
fucking
can
pretentious.
tell.
He ain't no pretentiousness or whatever." But he was like, "Man, I really would, but." You know the people who will write up the insurance for this would get so fucking mad if they saw that we took a picture during. So that was my one chance to get with Taylor. No, not my one chance because I'm gonna work for him again.
Okay.
But Taylor was a cool dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So, okay, actor-wise, who's your favorite? And we may have already touched on this earlier,
Yeah,
but
there's a couple. Um, we'll start with um Morgan Freeman, Samuel Jackson. Um, um, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Um, Um, oh my God, what's his name? God, what's his name? Okay, I'm gonna stop thinking about it because the more I think about it, it's hard. Let's see, who else do I like? Um, you know, I tend to gravitate to the ones that look like me. So yeah. Um. Oh, Forrest Whitaker. Forrest
oh.
Whitaker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you came last, Forrest. If you happen to watch this, but you're probably my favorite. You probably are my favorite. And like I said, I do hope to take Morgan Freeman's place someday.
He's going to put it in his will.
and yeah, hopefully, please do. No, I'd rather act with him than be his replacement. But I really like DiCaprio. He's one of my favorites as well. He puts out good work.
Those are all fantastic actors, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of touched on this earlier too. Have you met any of your idols?
Danny Glover. Yeah, yes. I met Danny Glover. I met Danny Glover on set.
Okay. And how was that experience?
It was pretty cool. It was funny because at the time I'm trying to be a professional actor and I'm at Crafty and I've got this book called The Power Actor and Danny Glover sitting right there. And I think I might have picked up the book so that I could show off to him that I'm trying to be
well, you know, actor. You were acting like an actor.
I was an extra on that.
Oh, okay.
I was
even better.
Yeah, I was an extra, and me and Danny Glover met each other at Crafty, and I'm like, I'm so nervous. Hey, Mr. Glover, how you doing? And he was just chilling. He was just chilling, had his hands on his knees, and he's like, "What you reading?" And I'm like, so proud to show him The Power Actor. And he's like, more or less like, you're reading a book on how to become an actor. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was almost like, put that book down and get to fucking acting. What are you doing? That's the kind of response that he had, Well,
maybe you needed to hear that in that moment.
I think so.
You needed to experience that.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So. Yeah.
Okay, so what about, have you met anyone, or even not even in the acting world, who they might be a naysayer of some sort, or maybe you perceived them to be negative, and has that influenced you in any way? Like, for me, sometimes if somebody has, said that, oh, she can't do that, I'm like, oh yeah, watch this. Ooh. Have you had that kind of experience at all? And
I haven't, well, not from persons in Hollywood, but personal story. My grandma who raised me she was my grandma. She was a lot older than me, and she only had myself. And at this point in time, because she had other kids that had passed away too, unfortunately. But at this time, she had myself and her son who has Down syndromes, who could, and she also had emphysema. So with emphysema, you get it and then you just constantly decline. You don't ever get better. You don't get cured from emphysema. You just constantly lose your breath. And and I think this comes from, she knew how eager I was to be an actor, and I wanted to go off to LA and become an actor. But from her standpoint, she's like, well, who's going to help me out here? Cause I'm sick,
Right.
So, there was one time where she expressed to me that, and I think it was because a lot of people say that I'm just like my mother, who I never got to meet. And I had an auntie tell me that my mother, anything she put her head to, she was doing. She wasn't scared. She was going to do that shit. And I think my grandmother saw that in me. So she probably saw me taking off to Hollywood. So one time she said to me that, we were having a disagreement or something, and I'll be an actor. She says that I don't think you have what it takes. That's what she told me. And that lit such a fire. Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. You don't. I'll show you.
There you go. Did she ever get to see any of your work?
No, my first time that I was ever on the big screen was Bring It On. Remember Bring It On, that movie?
Yeah.
So that was my first time being an extra. That's where I got into being an extra, background work, because they filmed that in San Diego.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I was an extra, but at the end I got like a special extra part where I was a judge. I was one of the judges at the very end when they went to Daytona, Florida, and they had the championship. I was one of the judges at the table.
Oh, cool.
And they gave me a lot of camera time. I mean, they came back to my face and it was just me and the fucking screen for the first time, just me and the screen. And I was so proud of that little fucking extra. I told everybody in the family, go to the movies. My aunt, my grandmother's sister went to the movies. She now imagine like an 80-something-year-old lady going to the movies
Aw.
to see her nephew in a movie. And I'm just at the very end. I don't even say anything, but it's just me and the camera. And there, when the camera pans back to the judge writing what he thinks about how the performance was, it was me. So my auntie was like, "Well, you were just sitting there. You weren't doing shit."
Yeah, but I got paid.
So my grandma saw that, and she also saw me in a couple theater projects, but my grandma wasn't a theater person, so I didn't get too many pats on the back. And I think she was probably trying to keep a leash on me so that I wouldn't run away, so that she, understandably so, that she would have somebody to look after her, which I ended up doing. I ended up looking after her and putting acting on hold, which is why I got such a late start. If I didn't have that, I probably would have been in LA a lot sooner, but I probably didn't start pursuing LA, Hollywood until 34, 35, because my grandma passed when I was 33. And then I finally felt free to like go pursue,
Mm. I
So
understand that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
lost my mom at the same age, and as hard as it was, because she was my best friend, there was a freedom that came with it,
Mm, yeah,
and it's bittersweet.
yeah,
It's hard to
yeah,
explain that to people sometimes, but I understand where you're coming from on that.
yeah.
And it's
Thanks.
admirable that you took care of her that way, and your uncle brother.
Yeah, thanks.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so when your agent or manager's sending you out, do you or let's just talk about the casting directors. Do you usually get cast in more dramatic roles or more comedic roles, or is it just, are there certain genres, or is it all across the board?
I th- I think my manager and my agent know that I have a funny bone.
They will
Most of
after today, if they didn't already.
I think at this point we're just trying, because I don't want to put myself in a bubble. I don't want to do just I'm a dramatic actor, and
Mhm.
I can be funny as well. I can play a lawyer. I can play a blue collar. Most of my gigs have been blue collar. I mean, blue collar, but I have had a few white collar roles. So yeah, I've always wanted to be a chameleon, but unfortunately, they kind of say in Hollywood, you kind of got to find your lane, and I think that casting directors, for the most part, kind of see me as a blue collar construction guy or whatnot, but or as in Poker Face, I was a cook, I was a barbecue guy, um,
That
so
role was fantastic, by the way.
thank you.
It was great watching you in that. It was great.
Thanks. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right on. Yeah, there was it's funny, there's the scene in there where it's me and Little Rail, and I have some regrets from this scene because at the time I had a brother, my brother who since passed away since then. I'm in where we at? I'm in New York. I'm in upstate New York, and my brother gets into some trouble, and he gets into some trouble with the law. Not even any of his fault, but that doesn't matter. But it wasn't his fault. He got into some trouble, and so he's behind bars. The day before I'm supposed to go on set for that Little Rail scene, and my whole focus at the time was just trying to get my brother out of jail, just trying to help him, and I didn't put the focus I should have on memorizing the lines.
Mm.
And I don't know if anybody else can tell, but every time I see it, I just cringe. Oh, because I didn't perform it the way that I could have performed it. I'm like, this is it right there. If I do this role right, they're gonna come after me in Hollywood. They're not gonna be able to stop. And sometimes I'm like, was it because who was it? Ryan Johnson is the producer of that show, and I think all the time, I'm like, Ryan was probably looking at the takes, and he was like, this guy's crumbling, I'll never hire him again. That's truly what I think in my head. I'm like, because we had to do the takes several times, um but yeah, it turned out good. The way they edited it came out good. And I don't know if anybody could tell that I messed up, but yeah, there's that
I
one
don't
scene that
think they could.
I'm kind of regret. Yeah, okay, good, thank you. Okay, but I had to admit to it because yeah, yeah,
No, you know what?
yeah,
Sometimes we examine, what worked, what didn't, and
yeah,
how can we change it for next time,
yeah,
We
yeah,
just we learn as we go.
yeah. We definitely do.
So, and
We definitely
it,
do.
our environment affects our work, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we just got to
yeah.
deal with it.
Won't
And
happen again, or at least to that
there you
degree.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever gone through the phases of, am I really going to stay in this business? And do you ever go through um
All the time, especially right now. Especially right now. Yeah, all the time, all the time. Um, and right now, with the way that it seems as COVID kind of screwed everything up in Hollywood, and we're producing less projects now than we were at the time of our most recent strike.
yeah.
Which makes
Well,
no sense.
how many strikes were there? That
Well, I'm
2 or
referring to
3?
I'm referring to the last writers slash actor strike.
Okay.
Yeah, which was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And man, it's hard. I would get several auditions a month, several auditions, and now it is dried the fuck up. And I've even hit my manager up like, "Oh my god, did I upset somebody? Am I not good?" And he encouraged like, "No, don't worry about it. It's what we're going through right now." And I have a lot of people and friends in the business, and they're experiencing the same thing, and it's pretty much blanketed over the whole goddamn business of it
Yeah.
all.
Well, and a
It's
lot of it just left town too. It's
I
it's not
know,
out here anymore.
damn
So,
Newsom. Yeah, that's right. I said it,
I'm
Newsom.
I'm glad you did. I
Shit.
know you know how I feel, but I'm gonna I'll keep that to a minimum because this is about you today.
Thanks.
So if you did leave, do you know what you would do? Are you content, or would you go someplace else, or would you try a different kind of gig?
My hope is that in the world of AI, you can't believe what you see on television or on the screen anymore because of AI. They're getting
Mhm.
so fucking good at
And
making
quick.
and so quick.
It's
But
crazy.
there's a soul missing from it.
Uh-huh.
Like it. First of all, AI couldn't do what it did if we as humans hadn't done what we did in previously, because all it does is just gather all the shit and then
Exactly.
spit out something. So, and I find myself sometimes like there's this. Have you heard that remix by 50 Cent that's AI did? Many
Mm-mm.
Men, many. Oh my God, you got to listen to it.
Okay.
Anyway, AI took 50 Cent the rapper, 50 Cent the rapper. He has a song called Many Men, and they kind of retwisted it into a 60s soulful song. So it takes the lyrics, same kind of beat or whatever, and they made an AI version of it, and it
Mm.
is so dope. And since then, now everybody's trying to do a remix. They're taking this song, and they're remixing it through the AI. And as much as I love this song at first, and I still love it, I still it feels um there's this feeling that I get that it's not human. I guess,
Mm.
and I think and I hope that I hope, and I don't know how true this is going to be, but I hope that at some point the live performances, since we can't believe what we're seeing on screen anymore, that the live performances will be reinvigorated. Like
Right.
people will eventually not. I don't want to say. I don't want that people will yearn for the live performances.
Right.
So I hope at some point that if you ask me if I would do something else, I would probably definitely try to get back into live theater, live performances. And I hope, and I see that pace kind of picking up a little bit.
Yeah.
I got maybe some things in the work, but I'm man. God made me an actor, and if I wasn't acting, I don't know, drive a truck. I don't know. There's nothing there's nothing
Yeah.
else.
No, I get it. I mean,
There really is nothing.
this is part of our being, being
Yeah.
performers, you know? I get it. People ask me the same question about the music. Do you think the AI is going to affect, you
Mhm.
performing? And I'm like, to be honest, I, I don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
I do see because we're all in our phones constantly, there's a real disconnect there. Even if we're talking like you and I right now, I know I'm not talking to an AI, I'm talking to you.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a huge difference when we get together in person and we break bread or, we're
Mhm.
having conversation. I think people are always going to want to go to live
Yes.
performance over
Yes.
watching it on a screen
Yes. I agree. I
because
agree.
they
And this
can participate. Going back to
yeah.
the very first thing I said
Yeah.
to you, there's an audience participation and it's reciprocal.
Yes, yes, yeah. And it's proven in the last little things that I'm doing. Like we've sold out all of our shows and people are really excited and they express their gratitude. And yeah, that's what I would probably turn to is just try to do more theater, more live performances.
Do
Yeah.
you do you ever experience what I like to call the LA curse where you're hustling to get a gig and you're like, why isn't it happening? And then you just kind of go, okay, well, I'm going to plan a trip. And the moment the day before you leave, like 5 calls come in.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Why does that happen?
I have no it's almost like I'm too thirsty. I'm thinking about it too much. And the moment that you let it go, the universe responds. Like
Yeah,
it's like, how do I
there's
do that in normal?
there's no resistance, I think is the whole key. It's like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
well, I'm going. Okay,
You
but
know,
we don't want you to leave.
it's funny because the first commercial that I booked, I went to about 100 auditions before I booked a commercial, and the first commercial that I booked, I had recently got out of a relationship, so I was kind of in a pissy mood, and I didn't give a fuck about anything.
Well,
I I didn't give a fuck about I didn't usually I'd be up in the casting office all fucking in my head thinking and I went in that office, I didn't give a fuck about anything.
yeah.
And I remember I even cursed in this audition. And it was like we were there was a bunch of there was a
With
bunch of there was a bunch of guys in this audition, and I remember the director was throwing scenes at us, and he's like, "What would you improv in this situation?" And I remember some guy said we were riding horses, and some guy said something, and I just turned and was like, "My horse would beat the shit out of your horse," and I got a fucking I got I got cast in it. I'm like,
what was the commercial
it
for?
was a Chevy commercial or something
Oh,
like that. Yeah,
right
yeah.
on.
And I just didn't give a fuck. I was, and I remember hearing the director laugh after I said that line. But I just, at the time, I didn't even give a fuck if that guy hired for the role. And I don't give a fuck what you think, Mr. Director. That's
Yeah.
just my mentality. So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that next time you go to an audition.
I know, right? I don't give a fuck about you.
Say that to the people if you're going into, say it to the people that you're competing with. I don't give a fuck about you. Just get out of my way.
You know?
Oh, unless you're going into audition with them, of course.
Right, right. Then I've got to care.
Then you got to be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's say that you are leaving town or whatever. But I feel like I see. Do you travel a lot?
I just got back from Indonesia.
Oh,
Went to
that's right.
Bali.
How was that?
Oh, it was awesome. I think everyone should go visit somewhere far, 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 far away from America and see that America isn't everything. Like I went to Bali, and here like we're the main thing. I got to
Hmm.
Bali, nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah,
Nobody like America, America, like they're doing their own goddamn thing over there, having fun. It was great. The people of Bali are wonderful. They
yeah.
are they they say they live by they live thinking of karma. They live their life knowing that karma is real, pretty much,
Yeah.
and that affects every part of their life. Plus they're highly spiritual. No, they're highly spiritual. Everywhere you go, there's a temple around,
Mm-hmm.
and there's public temples, there's private temples, and there's temples on the beaches. These are when I say a temple, I'm talking about a stone structure, nothing really big, but they're everywhere. And part of their economy is growing flowers so that they could give a donation to these temples. Everybody
Mm.
does it.
Wow.
Half of them are Muslim, half of them are um uh 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 oh God, I'm a bad person right now. But Hindu, excuse me, Hindu and Muslim, and they get along just fine. You would think that there would be strife. One doesn't eat pork, one doesn't eat beef, but they get along just fine. Strife, no strife at all. And half of the economy is growing these little flowers so that you can donate, so the Hindus can donate to their temple. And it's just a beautiful thing. I think their spirituality has a lot to do with the beautiful people that I saw. They're great people. Beautiful country. Um, yeah, man, I cried when I left. I made such a connection with some of the people that were, touring us around.
Yeah.
It's a great place. Great place.
Do you consider yourself religious or spiritual, or where do you
I
stand on that?
I am not religious. I went to Catholic school my entire life. I also was a baptized a Baptist. There's something about man-made religion I don't trust. But do I believe in a higher being? You goddamn right. Do I believe in something that's higher? I don't know if it's a human being granting wishes to everyone. Oh, yes, you have prayed to me enough, and now I should grant your wishes.
Right, right,
No, I
right.
don't think it's anything like that. I I think there is a stronger, something bigger than us
Mm-hmm.
that's out there. But
Right.
and I don't know what that is, and I dare not put a title on it, because I figure when we die, we're probably going to figure out that we didn't know an inkling about what is really in play at here.
Yeah. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so you've mentioned your lovely lady friend a couple of times. What
The
is her
love of
name?
my life, Tana. That's
Tana.
Tana. Prosper. Tana Prosper, of
Oh,
Haitian descent.
okay.
She's the love of my life. She's my baby. She rescued me. She helped me. She's a good woman. She's a good woman.
And how long have you been together?
We have been together since 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, good long time. Good long
Awesome. And
time.
where did
Yeah.
you meet?
We met online before, this is back in the day, before dating apps, when you Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish was the website that we met on. And oh, she's probably gonna hear this anyway. So so on Plenty of Fish, they would they when I first signed up, you first sign up, oh yes, I'm a male and I'm looking for females. And then they just started throwing pictures of girls at you. And then it said, would you meet her? Something like that. Would you
Mm-hmm.
meet her? So so then it's just throwing tens and hundreds of women at me, and it's like yes or no. I got my little mouse, and it's yes, no. And I didn't know that it was asking me, do I want to meet her? I thought it was, I thought it was getting an algorithm going like eHarmony. I thought it wanted to
Oh,
find out what kind of women I was into.
right.
So I was just going through tons of women. Yes, no. Come to find out, every woman I clicked yes on, it sent a note to her saying that he wants to meet you. I didn't know this. I must have clicked a couple hundred.
Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait,
not,
wait. Wait. Every woman that you clicked onto, it was sending Tana a message?
yes. No, it sent every woman.
Oh,
Every woman I clicked on, Tammy, Shanika, Lisa, if I said yes to the question, would I meet her? It
oh,
sent her a note and said,
okay.
this guy is interested in meeting you.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
If I knew that, I would not have done what I did. And Tana and I would never be together, because she responded. And
Okay.
in my profile, I was like, look, I'm an actor, and ain't nobody gonna. I said something like, I was just really bold. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is my goal in life. If you like it, get on board. If you don't, then see you later. And she wrote back how appreciative she was that I was going after my goals.
Oh, nice.
And to be quite honest, the picture, the picture that she had,
Yeah.
it was a little too professional for me.
Mm.
I probably wouldn't have thought that she would have been the girl for me. But anyway, because she reached out, a couple girls reached out, but because she reached out, we ended up going on a date. Went on a date, and we met up at her girlfriend's house, and she was working on her master's at the time. So everybody in the room was all of her fellow classmates, all really smart people going for their masters. And here I am, college dropout. But Tana and we met, and we we kind of talked, whatever, da 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 da, boom boom. I get in my car to go home, and when I get in my car to go home, that audition that I just told you about had contacted me, and it said, I gave me the good news, and I called her back immediately just because I didn't have anybody, and I was like, hey, guess what? And I thought she was my lucky charm, And
Mm.
to be honest, I I didn't on our first meeting. It was just like, oh, okay, she's a nice girl. So we go out like 2 days, 3 days, or maybe a week later. And mind you, the first day that we met, she was just in normal clothing, just, whatever, sweatpants, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She didn't do anything. But the second day, she treated it like a date, and she came, and I'm in my car. I, I'm in my car, and I look over at her, and I said, holy shit, I'm out of my fucking league. This fucking girl is beautiful. I didn't notice it the first time we met. And ever since then, still to this day, I kind of get a little nervous around her. She's the only one that's made me feel that way. Like, I want to impress her. I want to be the best man for her. I I want to I want to do, I want to be the best. I want her to have a good man that shows her the world and shows her love. And still to this day, I still get that little feeling sometimes. Like, I'm so impressed with her. She's really smart. Um, yeah,
I love
really,
that
she's
story.
beautiful. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that story.
yeah, yeah. I've never told her that, so she's going to see this, and we'll see what happens. Well, it's nothing bad, but I've never even expressed that to her because I don't want to admit to her that she still makes me nervous. But
Well,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
heartwarming. And thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah, for
Some
sure.
people don't like to share things like that, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
do you feel like you have mastered anything?
I think I'm pretty close to mastering acting. I think that you're never going to stop. There's never nothing to learn. I'm always going to have something to learn in this field, but I'm a pretty good actor. I'm a pretty confident in myself, especially on stage.
Yeah.
Like, there's no stopping me on stage. I'm like a choo-choo train. Once I get those words in my head and I know them like the back of my hand, you can't tell me nothing.
Yep. It's in your body.
You can't tell me nothing. I will go to toe with the best of them. Put Morgan Freeman on stage with me. Let's go, baby. Let's go. It doesn't matter. On that stage, that's my ground. And if I know the words well enough, I can do it just as well in television and film. The only problem with television and film is you don't get the same amount of practice time that you get when you're in the theater. So, with the theater, you're like a month and a half, you're in. A month and a half practicing lines, you know it like the back of your hand. In television, they'll give you 7 pages and be like, oh, yeah, you got to audition in 3 days. Are you kidding me? 7 pages? So, yeah, but yes, I think that I've mastered close to it. I can't say that close to it. I'm pretty confident in my acting abilities. Pretty confident.
Okay, good. I
Yeah.
expect to see more.
Thank you. So do I.
Do you have any goals set or Anything like that? Like next couple years, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to
Mm,
10?
I'm working on. Someone said that if they're not making projects for you in Hollywood, to make your own.
You go.
I've got a lot of great ideas. Of course, I'm going to say that, but I do have a lot of, and mainly when I think of ideas or things that I want to be on television, I want somebody to come into the theater and um, a, walk away a better person, or walk away with hope, and I want to make the world a better place. I hope to make projects that you walk away thinking, and so I have a few projects that I think will save the world is is the way that I kind of look at it. And hopefully, I've written a few of them, and then I backed off. I think I need a writing partner is what I need, because I'm not the greatest writer. But those projects, hopefully, I'll be able to complete within less than 5 years, and maybe I can hit up Seth and be like, "You got this production company, buddy," and a couple of the projects I've purposely written Seth as the main character and me as the strong supporting character, so
Of
that
course.
maybe we can get them get them lit, so that we can so that I can make those projects. And then I'm working on a few things around the house, just trying to make the house pretty. Yeah.
Nice. Well, do you consider yourself disciplined or determined, or do you think that that it's more luck for you on things?
No, it's I'm determined. I could work on my discipline, you know. And I think luck plays a big part in it as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, luck plays a big part in it. But I'm super fucking determined, super determined. So I could work on my discipline.
Well, is there anything that you would like to say or share with our listeners today that we haven't discussed?
One story about Candi. I want you guys to know what a cool motherfucker Candi is. All right. This is on the set of Good Girls. And this is when I knew Candi was a cool motherfucker. I might have even told you this story, so don't worry.
I don't know.
Um, so, as Reno's stand-in on Good Girls, Reno was one of the main characters on Good Girls. So I'm just kind of like the golden boy of the stand-ins, because I really can't get fired. Kind of, like I really couldn't do anything wrong, because they'd have to come to Reno, who's a main character, and be like, "We're gonna fire your friend," and that people in Hollywood are too scared to upset anybody. So and when I first walk in as to meet the group of guys, I don't know what to think of anybody. I don't know how anybody's going to take me. I got my defenses. Same with Leah. I thought the same with Leah, and you. I didn't know what to think of you. Pretty much. I'm like, I don't know if she likes me or she doesn't like me. And you were quiet a little bit. We didn't. It wasn't from the beginning that we became best of friends or good friends. So one time we were on set, and it was a scene where all of the main characters were in the car. We were in the car, and there were and I had been walking around, just kind of hobnobbing with everybody on set or whatever, and I had heard something. I heard some little whispers from between the director and the producer. And you were in the front seat, and you were in the
Oh,
front passenger seat. And
we just lost your picture. Oh, there we go. Okay.
oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
You were in the front passenger seat, and I got in the back seat, and I was all eager to tell you the news that I heard.
Oh no.
And I was like, "Yo, guys, I heard the director," and you went up, Larry,
Oh,
mics, and you point, and I forgot the mics were on,
yeah.
and you were catching me. You were saving. I was about to spread some tea. I was about to say something that they probably wouldn't have liked me to share with everybody. And you just reminded me, "Hey guy, there's mics on and they can hear you." And you caught me. You didn't have to catch me, but you caught me. And I was like, I sat in the back seat. I was like, I like this girl.
Well,
I
I'm
think
glad that you liked me because of that, because some people would have been like, she's too bossy.
oh no. No, I loved you after that. I was like, because you saved me. I probably who knows what because what I was gonna say wasn't something that everybody I'm thinking is just between us stand-ins. And
Well, you
you
can
caught
tell
me.
me now what they say.
They were having a disagreement or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. They were having a disagreement or something. I don't know. It wasn't that important in the grand scheme of things. But when you caught me, I was like, this is a cool motherfucker right here. And we became friends after that. And yeah,
Well,
definitely.
one of the things that I loved about you on set was, we'd go set up the shot and then they'd tell second team to go take a break and the actors would go in and shoot the scene. And I don't know if you'd have an earpiece in or whatever, but you'd be scrolling or you'd be watching a video while they're rolling and you would start cracking up and we'd be like, and I remember the first time I was like, oh my God, you better be quiet because you would just laugh out loud. And I was like, what in the hell? But you have this laugh that is so contagious and people just love being around you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
And
you so much.
I'm grateful that I got to work with you. And it was on one of the last shows that I worked on because I think you figured out I left the industry, but
Oh,
I
and it
uh
was, I didn't,
I've had a lot of really good years in the industry and I worked with a lot of great people and you're one of those people. And I
yeah,
appreciate you.
I didn't
So,
like the way that they made you leave, but
well, and you know what? It was kind of they would probably tell you that it was kind of a forced thing. I don't know if it was on both sides, and I'm not going to get into that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have no hard feelings towards anybody over there, and
Good. Well,
I I had I felt like while I was there, it was when I was supposed to be there, and when it wasn't time for me to be there, it was time for me to
amen to
l-
that.
level up.
Yeah,
If
there
you
you
know what I
go.
mean. So, but no, I
There you
wish
go.
nothing but goodness for all of them, and it's
Good.
just the way it went. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but do you have any projects coming up that we can look out for?
I don't. The last thing I was on was the studio. I hope because I had a character name that, studio got another season. I hope that, and if it is what it is, I hope that I, get invited back to set because it is a studio and I did play a producer. So there is the chance that my producer character could come back. Other than that, like I said, I'm doing PoFest and I'm about to perform for these kids. And I have some theater things, maybe almost lined up, but I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to say it out loud right now. Maybe you can mention it if I end up booking it. It'll be some nice theaters, some big theaters at one of the main theaters here in San Diego.
Okay.
So hopefully that's coming up. Other than that, I'm auditioning and just treading water, baby, treading water.
Well, can we follow you online anywhere?
The best place and the only place is Larry the Pretender on Instagram.
Okay.
Larry the Pretender, all one word.
All right.
Yeah.
And do you have an intention that you would like to set that I could participate with you in? Because I like to join in, and I don't know if it's like a prayer or
Uh,
whatever that I could
the
help.
int- the intention I've been working on lately, and thank you, yes, thank you. Is I've just been working on the intention of I've got acting jobs coming out of my ears, acting jobs coming, so many acting jobs that I have to turn them down. Just that's what I've been working on lately. So
Okay.
and surprisingly enough, after that, all these theater jobs just started popping up for me, which is totally fine. I'm hoping they're the Hollywood jobs, but my special place is the theater too, so I don't mind that at all. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, baby. That's what I'm working on.
All right. I like it. Well, I'll be wishing that for you. And anybody who's been watching today, if you have not binged The Studio or
Pam and
what's
Tommy,
Pam and Tommy, Poker Face,
Poker Face,
Yellowstone, look for Larry
Yellowstone.
Brown. He
Thank
will
you.
not disappoint. I
Ah,
promise you will love what he brings to the table. Um, thank you, Larry, for being here.
no, Thank you once again. Hey, and stick to the podcasting, homegirl.
Okay.
You found something. I don't know if you meant to find it, but you found something. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of different people, and I know a good one and I know a bad one, and yours is good.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Well, let's not wait so long.
For
Let's
sure.
stay in touch, and hopefully I'll see you in person soon.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us today, kids. I'm Candi Rands. That's
I'm
Larry
Larry
Brown.
Brown.
And this is the Proxy Principle.
Hey.
Thank you.